This isn't that obvious, is it?
Yes, it is.
After a non-stop flight to Barcelona, where we spent 2 days, we took a high-speed train to Madrid, spent 3 days there, and rented a car. We drove to Toledo, Cordoba, Seville, Malaga, Granada, and then headed back to Madrid.
Spain at night is magical. The historic buildings are just beautifully lit. Things don't get started there till about 8 or 9 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the morning, things are still going on. So it's so great. The squares at night just come alive. You'll see dancers and all kinds of entertainers, particularly at Puerta del Sol in Madrid.
With 1.5 million square feet of space and 2,200 rooms, the Royal Palace in Madrid is the largest in Europe. Gold leaf, expensive art and wallpaper and jewels are everywhere. It's a good example of the ostentatious opulence of the royals. The palace is no longer used and only a small portion of it is open to the public. And no picture taking or videos are allowed. That's where the hat camera proved invaluable. This is only a small part of the kitchen of the palace. The Moors, a nomadic Islamic people from North Africa, invaded and took over Spain in 711. Much of southern Spain was ruled by the Moors and other Islamic tribes for the next 500 years. Beginning in 1236, during the Reconquest, followers of Islam were slowly driven out by Christian armies. In January 1492, Alhambra, the massive Moorish palace and fortress in Granada, finally fell. But Islam left an indelible mark in art, architecture, and technology evident in much of Spain. The Alcazar in Sevilla and the Alhambra in Granada are prominent examples. The Jewish community in Spain was once one of the largest and most prosperous in the world. With the rise of anti-Semitism in the 1300s, Jews were blamed for everything from the plague to poor crops. The result was persecution, seized property, torture, and murder. In 1492, Jews were expelled from Spain, and synagogues were converted to churches. In every city now, there are a few historical synagogues that were excavated or reconverted from Christian churches. About 30,000 Jews live in Spain today. Let's talk about the hotels.
Oh, I love the hotels. The hotels were all so clean. and modern and very reasonable too. One of my favorites was in Barcelona. They had a 24-hour food available, like a little cafeteria, but they also had wine and yogurt on tap. They were all pretty charming and wonderful. Did such a good job planning the trip.
Yes, you did.
Spain really loves its ham. You can find pig legs everywhere. In supermarkets, in stalls, in stores.
Yeah, and there's even these places called ham museums.
The best of it costs $100 a pound. It's from free-range, black-hooved Iberica pigs, fed mostly acorns. It's a real delicacy.
The Dehesas or meadowlands where Julian Martin's Iberico pigs are bred and feed are a true natural paradise.
Se lleva todo el día durmiendo.
Alejandro. ¿Qué dices? Si son las...
Driving in Barcelona and Madrid was totally nuts. Not only were there cars and buses jockeying for position, but also hordes of scooters splitting lanes and appearing out of nowhere. On top of that, many of the side streets are poorly marked and no wider than your driveway. And the roundabouts were everyone for themselves, with Google Maps telling you to take an exit just as you passed it. But once you are out in the countryside, driving is a joy. The roads are marked and well maintained, they're better than ours, and traffic is non existent. Sometimes we didn't see another car for miles. One of our favorite experiences was a festival in a country town called Orgaz. There were no tourists, only locals, and lots of food, candy, and games. Most unusual was an exhibit of beautiful live raptors, eagles, falcons, and owls, tethered by one foot. One small boy almost lost a finger when he tried to pet one of the birds. You'd never see an exhibit like that in the United States.
I like this. Just make your way.
Once a year, this neighborhood in Cordoba opens its lavishly decorated patios to the public. There are long lines to get in every one.
What?
Well, when we get the dog in front of the gate, then the dog turns.
That's all, folks.